What's going on, world? Welcome to the Battle Vlog $1 Million Dreams, episode 2 of the vlog. What's up? Vlogging is a new thing for me. I've been quite blessed to be in a position where I'm still employed during this whole quarantine situation. First and foremost, I hope everyone out there is doing the best they can given the current situation. Obviously, it's tough, and I can't give you any real concrete tips on how to cope with this situation right now, but I will say that in times that are very challenging, there usually is potential for opportunities. So try your best to keep your head up and keep your eyes open. You never know what could come your way. One of the things I've been doing just to keep my mind busy is learning photography and videography. The main reason why I was learning that was because for a really long time I've wanted to start my own YouTube channel where I share software engineering tips, coding tutorials, general experiences around developing software or applications and things like that. I always thought it would be an interesting YouTube channel. Still trying to figure that out. That's why I started even learning about how to record myself on a camera and do that type of stuff. Earlier this week, I actually posted my very first video. Looking back, I can tell that it got pretty boring pretty quick. That's okay. In my research, I'm finding that it's probably gonna take me anywhere from 25 to 50 videos until I hit my stride and really know what type of content I need to create and what the real value add is, so that there are some good takeaways for my viewers. So it's all a learning process, and so for now I am just gonna keep practicing, keep learning, and keep doing my thing. So today, as I've been practicing a lot, I'm gonna share with you two main tools that I'm using as I'm learning general photography, videography, and vlogging all at the same time. And so the two primary tools I'll be using will be my Sony A7iii with a 20mm f1.8 wide angle lens. It'll be great for vlogging, and an iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'll be sharing my experience with it so far just because I've been practicing pretty heavily. I'll be kind of going through a few pros and cons. This video is not a comparison video of the A7iii versus the iPhone. It's mostly me sharing my experience with it, sharing some sample footage, and sharing what are the applicable use cases for me in terms of when I would use my A7iii and when I'll be using my iPhone. So hopefully that sounds interesting. And since I've been practicing quite a bit, figured I'd just give you 6 takeaways overall between this kind of vlogging dynamic with these two systems. Maybe it kind of helps you in some way. So strap up, because we're gonna get into it. Really quick, as you know, I'm getting started with YouTube, and I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and drop me a comment so I can kind of keep powering through this and keep learning. Stick around, let go. Alright, takeaway number 1. I need a flip out screen. It almost sounds straightforward, but I did so much research, and there was actually a lot of different YouTubers and influencers, I guess you could say, and the consensus was kind of 50-50 in a way. There were some who were saying that you don't need a flip out screen. For the most part, you should be looking directly into the camera. You don't need a flip out screen, I guess, to vlog, I guess. The other side of the coin were YouTubers who swear that they needed it. It helps them make sure that they're in focus, that their composition is correct, and that they're actually in the shot properly the way they want it to be. I didn't really know which way to go, but since I was learning photography and a little bit of videography, I wanted a good hybrid solution. I was looking at the X-T4, but during this whole epidemic, I think they were just kind of pushing back the release date, and I was kind of going crazy because I was trying to learn a lot and I was just so anxious to just get going. The A7iii is like a proven system, so I just kind of dove in, decided just to go in and do it, and I was really excited with it. I don't want anyone to think that this A7iii was a bad purchase. It's freaking amazing. This lightning storm in the back is pretty crazy. But yeah, the A7iii is an amazing camera. I'm really happy with it overall. However, when I vlog with it, it is pretty challenging not having the flip out screens. Even though I am a newbie in this world, from my perspective, I need it. As I am adding this little iPhone here to my arsenal for vlogging, even as I use my iPhone, I am finding that the front-facing camera is not the best solution overall either. Even though you can still record 4K at 24 frames, the real reason why this is the pro camera, at least for a vlogger, is the wide-angle lens in the back. That's the lens I want to use when I'm vlogging. So I'll be like this, but at that point I'm in the same boat as my A7 III, where I lose some type of screen that will kind of give me my exposures. One of the investments I could make is to buy an external monitor where I could even record externally through a HDMI output. Most likely it'd be the Atomos Ninja 5. That's just another investment, which, you know, potentially in the future, but right now just seems like too much for someone that's just in the early stage of just learning this world. What I did was I purchased this app on the App Store. It's called Shutter, Sony Alpha Remote, and I haven't had a lot of time yet to fully play around with it. At a minimum, at least show myself on the screen. Yeah, here's the app. So I'm gonna play around with it. Maybe one day I will maybe give a full review on all the capabilities of this thing. At a minimum, I can at least see myself and what the output is of this. So it's still recording obviously internally the A7 III. At least here I can like at least tell if I'm in focus or not, if I am like out of the frame or in it properly, and things like that. And so it should be helpful, and it kind of solves it for whenever I am sitting down and stationary, which is for the most part when I'll be using my A7 III to vlog. If I'm out on the go and I need to do that run and gun thing, I will probably be using my iPhone and I'll be facing out. And if I really need to do some quick vlogs like this, and I need to talk to myself like that, you know, I'll live with it and just be like, that's the current situation. I need to hurry up, record whatever is happening right now, and I won't have a screen to look at. It is what it is for that given moment. For a shot like what I'm doing right now, where I'm sitting down and I have, I guess, the luxury and the time to sit down and look at my composition, make sure that I'm in focused and I got that bokeh and depth of field going, all that good stuff, I will be using my A7 III for those situations. This iPhone app here, the Shutter Sony remote, which is 15 bucks, but it beats buying the, like, what was it? I think it's like $500 or $600 for the Atomos Ninja 5 right now, but it's like another $200 or $300 if you want to record externally to the SSD. Anyways, I'm not using that right now, and I am currently using this app. That's number one. I definitely need a flip out screen. It is what it is. The second takeaway from practicing with my A7 III and my iPhone: general insights to frame rates and composition. On my Sony, I have the FE 20mm lens with a 1.8 aperture, and this is a wide angle lens, and hopefully you can see some pretty decent footage from fairly amateur person that's just learning how to do this. I think this is a pretty good composition for now. It also has been pretty fun taking photos with this camera and this lens in low light or in just general stills, honestly. And I'm not like a full photographer, but hey, I will, you know, share some of my stuff that I've been practicing with. Pretty happy with that. The A7 III overall has been yielding some really great videos in 4K and 24 frames, and that's pretty much so far all I've been practicing with, and I'll share some more of that footage. But I think I don't really need to talk too much about how good the composition and how great the A7 III is. But with the iPhone, I do want to share a ProRecorder app that I recently downloaded. So like I said, on the iPhone, if you're vlogging, in my opinion, you should be using the wide angle lens. In terms of controlling like frame rate and composition and stuff like that, I made a purchase also, but I do want to share really quick, because when I was YouTubing and just researching the best way to kind of vlog with an iPhone, so a lot of YouTubers were recommending Filmic Pro. Maybe not necessarily fully recommending it, but that's what they were using when they were demonstrating like cinematic footage on your iPhone 11 and blah 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 blah. But looking at additional reviews, right now it's 4 stars, so maybe there have been lots of improvements, so I'm not trying to knock this app. But one of the reviews I came across mentioned how this was $15, and once you purchase the app, you still, like it says it right here, in-app purchases, you still like need to upgrade to like unlock additional functionality. So you're already paying $15 for it, and I'm not the one to kind of speak on, I guess, price of applications and what quantifies a good investment of $15 when you know you might spend $15 on something that you will never use versus a $15 purchase on the app that you will use and it will help you out a lot. Because as a software engineer, I know that's a challenge in our space, where convincing a person to spend $1 on the app, I'm not saying $15, that's maybe a reach there, but in general, just convincing people to purchase software that they actually use in their day-to-day and it makes their livelihood better, it's a challenge. And so I'm not gonna complain that this is too expensive or anything like that. I don't think that's my place. But what I will say is that it is kind of misleading that you will spend $15 on this application only to have to be kind of upsold to enhance additional functionality. So that's my only point. There's another app where it has more reviews. So the Filmic one had like 2,000 or 3,000 reviews and it was 4 stars. This one right here had about 15,000 reviews. I don't know why the Filmic Pro is like the promoted editorial one for Apple. So I'm kind of interested in knowing like how that works in terms of like how do you become like the feature editor's pick or whatever. It almost makes me not trust the editor's pick in a way. But anyways, the ProMovie video recorder here, this is actually, scroll down here, this was $2.99, so it's $3, and I'll open it up in a second. And I haven't played too much with this one either, but what I can say is that in the test footage that I have used it for so far is meeting my needs, and I know I'm, you know, I guess an amateur at this point. This is it right here. One thing you can note, at least for me, is that the screen, it gets cut off a little bit on the right. I guess that's because of the notch. I don't know who to blame on that. Not a deal breaker, but it's really nice. You can kind of control aspect ratio, resolution, things like that. I am doing all my stuff at 24 frames. Of course, I'm gonna max out my quality, get the most bang for my buck. If I'm already throwing this money in terms of buying an iPhone and investing it, I'm gonna max everything out. You call it. One thing that I've been noticing is that, and it's probably just because I haven't played around with the app enough, but adjusting my shutter, it seems to keep going back to 40. It will record in whatever shutter speed I want. In my research, you want to double your frame rate, so this is kind of nice that it can increment by ones. I can go to 48 for my shutter, and then you can like tweak your ISO, white balance, all types of things within this app. So it's like totally in the short term, because I haven't played with it that much, definitely meeting my needs. And I'm gonna share some test footage of me using my iPhone overall outdoors. Yesterday I actually was trying and practicing, like I said, I've been practicing a lot, and I was practicing vlogging yesterday with my 2-year-old, just out and about, kind of doing the same exact video that I'm doing right now. There's some test footage, hopefully you can see that. I was using this Pro Recorder app, captured all that, and you could obviously absolutely use the default iPhone video recording app, but in terms of if you're someone like me that is trying to push themselves to get the best quality possible for whatever output, and I know for YouTube, ultimately this is like totally overkill in some ways, but I'm trying to push myself, keep learning, because eventually I want to work on other projects. For one example, you know, my parents, they are survivors of Cambodian genocide, and so it would mean the world to me to kind of capture a lot of their story, not only for my personal like family records, but if I do a good job, I will kind of learn how to kind of do some type of documentary. That's why I'm trying to push myself to learn as much as I can. All right, so the number 3 takeaway in general experience to running and gunning. As I mentioned before, the A7 III pretty much will be my stationary camera when I need to kind of vlog like this. The primary thing I use for still photography, that will be my main function for that. But when it comes to running gun shooting, this iPhone here, I mean, you always have it in your pocket. It has IBIS, you know, obviously not everyone's gonna have this thing. The actual setup I have on this is LiteChaser Pro by PolarPro. I don't know if you YouTubers out there are just so good at your videos sold me. I went ahead and got it. If you're not familiar with it, there are quite a few YouTube videos. If you just YouTube LiteChaser Pro, one of the more skilled reviewers can definitely shed some light on that for you. Pretend this GorillaPod isn't here. This little thing right here, a little grip. So I mean, I could just take this off, but you can technically like just hold it like this. Pretend I don't have this GorillaPod on this thing, and then do your thing. But the real thing behind this is this variable ND. I will not. It stands for neutral density filter. And it essentially can help you when you are in very exposed situations. Exposed as in like it is super bright. Damn, that was a workout. This is the variable ND, and so when I'm running and gunning, I got that IBIS from the phone already. This GorillaPod I think is pretty cool in general. If I need to put it down or just hook it up to like a tree or something like that, it's pretty convenient. I don't have enough light, I can't see anything. Is it on? There you go. Okay, wow. So I guess PolarPro, if you ever watch this video, not that this is a bad product or anything, not the easiest thing. Alright, I think I finally got it on. I don't know who to blame, PolarPro or me, but I'll take the blame. So, take off this little thing, and here you go. Ergonomics. This fits really well. Not that I would actually, I mean, there might be times where I'm just using the handle without the pod, and I might be doing my thing. But for the most part, I probably will just use this. Just looking at it, it almost makes me feel like I'm like gonna be creative, or I am like a content creator, and I'm ready to go do work. So I like the vibe of it. That's cool. And so yeah, as you are in situations where you need kind of control the stops of light and it's too bright outside and you need to control that exposure, have that variable ND filter right there. You have the built-in IBIS, and then now I can shoot. The other thing that is interesting to me, which I haven't fully tested out yet, is the fact that I want to use a ND filter, but I also want to shoot wide angle. Traditionally, NDs are not really meant for wide angle lenses. I actually have I have an ND filter for my Sony, and it does impact the image and the output in a visible way for the most part. And so in terms of just the laws of physics, this wide angle lens and then like this variable ND ring around it, you can get some weird stuff happening on the outer edges of your frame when it's wide angle. But I don't know if those same rules apply when it comes to an iPhone wide angle. At the end of the day, it's just like this tiny little lens and sensor. So that remains to be seen. The whole iPhone like camera technology is kind of mind-blowing. Yeah, I guess we'll see how it looks. I have it. So yeah, number 3 is kind of running and gunning. Primarily running and gunning only for me will mean iPhone shooting. All right, so number 4 takeaway, general experience, is in regards to audio. So obviously audio is probably one of the most critical components of a vlog. Kind of just share with you my experience so far. So excuse my dirty apartment. Got my 2-year-old kind of throwing stuff everywhere. But on my A7iii, I just have an external microphone kind of hooked up to that thing. I know I have like the wind thing on it. It's just not on purpose. It just happens to be on it. Right now, I am using a ProRecorder app, and I'm using actually right now the front-facing camera. It doesn't give me that full wide-angle view. It's not doing that magical bokeh and depth of field and all that stuff. And it's like once I do that, how can I go back? Like how can I just use a plain old front-facing camera from Apple, even if it's giving me 4K at 24 frames, and this app is letting me do it at 48, shutter, pretty good ISO, general exposure, all that stuff. But I mean, the A7iii, I got kind of spoiled, so I'm not really gonna use the front-facing camera. You can kind of compare the footage here. Audio test. So, this is the audio coming out of the internal microphone on the iPhone right here. This is how it sounds here on my A7iii with my external mic. Can't remember exactly which mic this is. I did not throw down hard and get one of those Rode microphones. So this is something that I got on Amazon, had good reviews, but it was only like $30 or $40. So I'll link it, but so far it's been working pretty good. It's better than what the internal microphone would be giving me on the A7iii, which I'm not even gonna share because it's kind of pointless. when I have that external mic. Alright, so one thing that I do also have is this thing right here. It's by this company called Comica, and they are lavalier microphones that are wireless. I am not going to go through that full setup right now. I also have like a wired lavalier microphone, and so what I will do is kind of compare that audio output to the internal microphone on the iPhone. I bought this wireless kit because I think when I kind of when I practice my documentary stuff and things like that, or just do general interviews, having this wireless setup where I could get the lavalier on myself, asking them questions, and then the person I'm interviewing have the lavalier microphone on them also, probably will just make it a probably just give me better quality of an output. So that's why I went ahead and purchased this Comica, which this by itself might be worth, I don't know if a review is the right word, but kind of just sharing capabilities of what this thing here can do. And yeah, I don't know. Let me plug this in. Of course, I have to have this converter thing. Pretty annoying, but I won't even waste my energy. Hello. So this is the lavalier. Definitely shouldn't speak directly into it because then it's gonna get crazy and I'll be peeking, but I'm assuming this is way better qualities. I learned from some of these guys out here where they kind of actually like have the lavalier either underneath their shirt taped or some other mechanism, and they're not actually wearing it up here. I see a lot of people wearing it up here, which I guess is fine, but you don't actually have to. Like right now, I'm just holding it and it's like in the middle of my chest. Let's pretend I had some tape here. I'm pretty sure you can still hear me pretty good, amazingly good. And this is like a $10-15 lavalier setup. So depending on how this test footage goes between this and this A7 III right here, I am using that external microphone on the A7 III, but who knows, maybe I'll start using this wired lavalier mic also if I want like super crisp audio. But I think the external mic is getting the job done for the most part. Just easier because I don't have to think about it. I just kind of hit record and it's already plugged in. That's my general experience so far with audio in terms of the A7 III and the iPhone. So the number 5 takeaway in this current setup or dynamic between these two devices, maybe not that critical to everyone, but it is low light performance. One of the selling points to me was the full frame sensor on the A7 III, and you know, there are so many very helpful YouTubers and influencers out there telling people like me you don't need full frame, etc. And for the most part, you're right. I am kind of overkilling it right now. I started off the video talking about I need a flip screen, and of course it got late and I recorded over like 8 gigabytes of footage out of focus. One tells me it's getting late, so wrapping it up, but really appreciate you watching. The last segment there was just me kind of just sharing my experience in low light. Thank you for watching. Those are my 5 takeaways so far as I'm learning how to vlog and do photography and videography. Hope the video was interesting. Sorry if it was a little long. I'll keep practicing, like I keep saying. Like and subscribe, show your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay weird. Peace.